It didn't start with an accusation. That's what made it worse. If he had come in angry, if he had raised his voice, if he had said anything direct, I might have handled it differently. But he didn't. He just asked a question, a normal question, one that shouldn't have mattered. And somehow, that's what led to everything. Did you go out earlier? I almost said yes without thinking, because it was such a simple question. So casual, so harmless, but something in the way he asked it made me hesitate, just for a second. And that second was enough. Daniel noticed everything. Always had. And that was one of the things I used to admire about him. How observant he was. How he picked up on things other people missed. But in that moment, that wasn't something I admired. It was something I feared. Yeah, I said finally, trying to sound normal, trying to smooth over that hesitation. Just for a bit. Daniel nodded slowly, not reacting, not pushing, just continuing. Where'd you go? Still normal, still reasonable, still a question that shouldn't have mattered. But now I felt it. That pressure building. That quiet sense that this wasn't random anymore. Just out, I said. Too vague. I knew it immediately. And I saw it in his face, too. That tiny shift. That small confirmation. He noticed. Out where? He asked. Still calm. Still controlled. But now, there was intention behind it. I forced a small shrug. Ran a couple errands. Another mistake. Because now I had created something he could follow. And he did. What errands? That was the moment everything started unraveling. Because now, I had to build something. Something believable. Something consistent. Something that would hold together. Store, I said. Again. Too fast. Too simple. Daniel nodded again. Slow, measured, like he was filing everything away. Which one? And there it was. That shift. That realization that this wasn't going to stop. That one question wasn't just a question. It was the start of something. Something I couldn't control anymore. I picked one. Random. Close enough to be believable. But not something I had actually planned. Target, I said. Daniel held my gaze for a second longer than usual. Just long enough to make me uncomfortable. Then, what did you get? And that's when I knew. Really knew. This wasn't about curiosity. This wasn't about conversation. This was a chain. And I had already stepped into it. Just a few things, I said. Vague again. Trying to avoid specifics. Trying to keep it from going further. But it didn't matter. Because now, he was already in it. What things? He asked. And just like that, everything started collapsing. Because now I had to remember everything I hadn't actually done. I named a couple random items. Basic things. Safe things. Stuff that wouldn't raise questions. But I could feel it. Even while I was saying it. It didn't sound right. Not fully. Not clean. And Daniel knew it. I could see it. Not in his words. But in the way he looked at me. Like he was just waiting. Waiting for it to break. Do you still have the receipt? He asked. And that was it. That was the moment everything fell apart. Because there was no way around that. No way to explain it. No way to fix it. I froze. Just for a second. But it was enough. Because Daniel saw it. He always did. No, I said. Too quickly. Too defensively. I threw it out. Daniel nodded slowly, and for a second, I thought maybe that was it. Maybe it would stop there. Maybe I had gotten through it. Then he said, "That's weird." My chest tightened. "Why?" I asked. And even as I said it, I knew I shouldn't have. Because now, I had asked the next question, and that meant he was going to answer. "I was at Target earlier," he said. Calm, flat, final. "And I didn't see you." Silence. Heavy, unavoidable. "And your car wasn't there either." Everything inside me dropped. Because now, it was over. Not because of one mistake, but because of all of them. Every answer, every hesitation, every detail that didn't line up. All connected. All leading here. "I stopped by the house after," he continued. "I forgot something." My heart started racing again, because I knew, before he even said it. "I heard you," he said, and everything went quiet. "I didn't come in," he added. "I didn't need to." That hit harder than anything else, because it meant he had time. Time to listen. Time to understand. Time to decide. "I just wanted to see what you'd say," he finished. And there it was. The truth. The reason for everything. Not the question. Not the answers. But the fact that it was never about finding out. He already knew. This was just the confirmation. "You lied," he said. Not angry, not loud, just certain and final. I didn't respond, because there was nothing left to say. No version of this where I could fix it. No explanation that made sense. Just the reality of what I had done, and how I handled it. Daniel exhaled slowly. "I gave you a chance," he said, "and you just kept going." That was the part that stayed with me. Not the questions, not the moment. But that I didn't stop. That I didn't tell the truth when I could have. That I kept building something that was always going to fall apart. That night, he packed a bag. Quietly. Deliberately. Like he had already made the decision long before the conversation ended. "I'm staying somewhere else," he said. And I didn't stop him, because I knew there was nothing left to fix. The house felt empty after he left. Not peaceful. Not calm. Just quiet in a way that felt permanent. A few days later, I got a message. Did he find out? I stared at it for a long time, because now, it didn't feel like anything. Not exciting. Not worth it. Just small. I didn't reply. A week later, Daniel asked me to meet him. Not to fix things, just to end them. "I can't do this," he said. Simple, clear, final. And I understood, because I knew if it were the other way around, I wouldn't be able to either. We didn't argue, didn't fight. There was nothing left to argue about. We just ended. And in the end, that's what stayed with me. Not the moment he caught me, but the moment it started. With one simple question. Because that one question led to everything else.